breaking news, just as the title says. Twitter is on fire, internet is on fire like every other day. The saga of my little toe continues, so it still hurts. I still haven't gone to the hospital. Good to me. Good, great, good job. Good job, Fear. Adulting is a myth. And also koalas are high all the fucking time. Like, if you look it up, they quite literally eat eucalyptus, and that's just making them high all the time. And they actually sleep 22 hours a day. So I want to be a koala. I just want to, you know what? I'm sick of this bullshit. I just want to sleep. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Hi, how are you guys doing? If you're new here, I know you're confused. I know maybe you're scared. I think that's justified. But you're locked in, you can't leave. And hi, I'm Sona. You can call me... I'm Sona and I'm messing up my intro. I'm FEARSONA, you can call me Sona, and I'm your friendly neighborhood true crime VTuber, here to give you full body chills, and here with yet another true crime case. Oh wait, what did I do? Oh god, tongue tie, yeah. I mean, classic Sona, you know, like messing up my intro. That's just scuffed. That's just part of who I am. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in the other day to listen to me sing. You know, like I had an unarchived, oh god, I can't. I had an unarchived karaoke stream and it was a blast. You know what? Like I chose we had some fun songs and I had such a blast singing them. I was rusty, but you know, like those were some great songs. I really want to do it again sometime soon, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, Shy, thank you so much for 5 gifted memberships. Congratulations to everyone who got the membership. Enjoy the emotes, enjoy the perks, and please say thank you to Shy. Remember to say thank you to Shy in the chat. Bacon, thank you. They beat me. I slept for 16 hours today. Jesus guys. I mean, yeah, they beat you. I'm sorry. Koalas are like champions in I guess sleeping. They just sleep all the fucking time. They are just, my god, they're awake only 2 hours a night. Just 80-90% of their lives they are just asleep. This is great. They're just like, you know what, sick of this, I'm gonna be high all the time and I'm gonna sleep, and I don't care what happens around me. I had fun watching your karaoke video. Great, Melissa, thank you so much for being there. I hate clowns, but I will try not to get scared. Oh yeah, today's case, or this week's case is... Okay, so this week we're diving into a case that haunted the town of Wellington, Florida for decades, the chilling murder of Marlene Warren. And the story takes us back to this sunny Saturday morning in May of 1990, and what should have been an ordinary Memorial weekend turned into an absolute nightmare, and that's what we're gonna talk about. Before I get to the case, just wanted to remind you guys that you still have until October 25th to apply or to enter the giveaway that's gonna take place on October 26th, and the giveaway is for 3 desk mats / mouse pads with the spooky Halloween design, Sona design. But if you don't really feel like entering the giveaway and you just want to get a mouse pad or, you know, desk mat from me, because it's gonna be a bigger one, but if you just want to get a desk mat with one of my designs, then there's this one available for my platinum, ruby, and diamond tier Patreon members over on Patreon, and these desk mats are gonna be shipped out sometime at the end of October or beginning of first half of November. So all of the desk mats, all of the mouse pads are gonna be shipped out sometime like October, November. But yeah, you know, you can still join and you will receive your desk mat in November. Okay, guys, I think we can get to it. Oh yeah, and one more thing. So after this stream, this is the last stream of the week, and after this stream I'll be taking a few days off. I did talk about it on Patreon, just for a couple of reasons. Just wanted to regroup, just wanted to do some soul searching. I think I need some soul searching, preferably with ayahuasca, but just some soul searching with ayahuasca spiked matcha latte. I don't know. Yeah, I just need this week just a couple more days. It's been things were happening and I've been feeling things, let's just put it that way, and I'll just need a couple more days to myself to, you know, to kind of work behind the scenes, work on some stuff behind the scenes, and come back on I believe I'm gonna come back on Friday with a Patreon hangout, and then there's gonna be a you know, like the Halloween themed event. So the special event with the giveaway will be on Saturday, and then on Sunday again another case. So we're gonna have like 3 streams next week. Hope you have a good break, Sona. Yeah, it's gonna be like a break, non-break break, because I'll still be working on stuff behind the scenes. I'm gonna be working on something for Patreon. I'm gonna be working for something overall for the channel, so it's not really days off. It's more like, oh, I have to focus on something behind the scenes and then come back at the weekend. So don't worry, I'll be back. All right. And I think we can get to the case. Kyoki, hello. Hi, welcome to the channel. Okay, so just a warning at the very beginning, this episode is intended for educational and documentary purposes, and I must advise you that the content you're about to hear is disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. This stream is generally for adult audiences, so if you're under 18, just be warned. If we find out in the chat that you're here and you're interacting, I'm sorry, but you will have to be blocked. You won't be able to interact in the chat. That's my rule, and I'm gonna stick to it. And yeah, well, I mean, you know, I can't control if you continue watching my stream, but I can control if you can comment and interact. So, and yeah, that's one of the rules. That is literally like one of my chat rules. So be warned. All right. Now, let me set the scene. It's May 26th, 1990, at around 10:51 a.m. The location is an upscale neighborhood in Wellington, Florida. It's this peaceful, affluent area where residents lived very, very comfortably. It's also a more posh community, or, you know, wealthy community, and I'll explain why. It's a very special, posh, wealthy community. But you know, let's get back to the scene. Marlene Warren is at home with her son, Joe, his girlfriend, Jenny Pratt, and a few friends. They are preparing breakfast, chatting and laughing, you know, just a typical weekend morning, nothing unusual. Suddenly, everything changes because there is a small white car, not this light, but there's a small white car that pulls into their driveway, into Marlene's driveway. And Marlene's son's girlfriend, Jenny, notices the car first. So she kind of says like, hey, there's a, you know, she addresses Marlene and she's like, I'm sorry, but there's a white car in the driveway, like they just pulled up. And what follows is nothing short of surreal. When Marlene answers the door, she's greeted by someone dressed as a clown. Yes, a clown. I mean, this is the last figure she expected at her doorstep this morning. So the figure actually hands her 2 balloons and a basket of flowers. Everyone inside thinks it's a harmless surprise, and actually, you know, maybe something orchestrated by Marlene's husband, Michael. And Marlene actually is pretty pleased, you know, like she does like clowns. She thinks that this is a nice surprise from her husband, and she's like, oh, you know, how pretty. This is actually what she says, commenting on the basket and on the balloons. She says, how pretty, as she takes the balloons, one of which actually reads, you're the greatest. And I do have a picture from the crime scene. This is the crime scene. This is the evidence photo, and you can still see that there are balloons, and one of them, the heart-shaped one, does say, you're the greatest. But in the blink of an eye, what began as a seemingly innocent delivery turns into an absolute nightmare. The kids hear a pop, like popping sound. And in the first few seconds, they think that the sound came from one of the balloons popping, right? Like they're like, oh, there was a pop, like it must have been, you know, one of the balloons just like burst, whatever. But it didn't. it was actually the sound of a gunshot, a .38 caliber handgun fired point blank at Marlene, into her face, straight into her face. Marlene collapses to the floor, and what follows is just chaos. The clown calmly turns around and walks back to this white car, the Chrysler LeBaron. I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, but it's a Chrysler LeBaron. Actually, let me turn this off. Okay, so the clown just turns around, walks back to the car, waiting in the driveway. Everyone is in complete shock. I mean, Jenny runs to Marlene's side, while Joe, despite, Marlene's son, despite having a broken leg that at that time, he hobbles outside to try to catch a glimpse of the assailant, try to catch a glimpse of this person, maybe recognize them, maybe, just note whatever it is that he can note about this person to maybe be able to identify them later on. But all he can make out are the clown's deep, unsettling brown eyes before the car speeds away. Well, the attention turns back to Marlene, and blood is pooling around Marlene's head, and it's clear that she is gravely injured. Despite their desperate attempts, Marlene was shot straight in the face, and the damage was, catastrophic. The bullet traveled through her upper lip and lodged into her spine. I mean, it's a horrible, horrible injury, and honestly, I don't think they're saving it. I don't think there's any way that they can, definitely not Jenny, definitely not Joe. No one around her right now can save her. She needs doctors, she needs paramedics, she needs to be transported to the hospital immediately. An ambulance rushes her. They do call, medical services, they do call 911, and an ambulance arrives very quickly, and it rushes her, the paramedics rush her to the nearest hospital, where she's placed on life support. This is actually a picture from the crime scene, and you can see Marlene on the stretcher, the paramedics are rushing her to the hospital. And at the hospital, she is placed on life support, but tragically, she never regains consciousness and is later pronounced dead on May 28th, 1990. So unfortunately, she did not make it. So the question that immediately gripped investigators and the public alike was, why? Why Marlene? This didn't make sense. By all accounts, she was this quiet woman, very kind person, living a seemingly perfect life in a prestigious community with her husband Michael and her son Joe. I mean, okay, to put it into perspective, the family lived in this community called the Aero Club, which is a very unique neighborhood in Wellington, where residents literally had private airplane hangars, and runways. I actually have the picture of her home. If you see it here, this is probably the runway for the airplane. So that's crazy. That is crazy rich, crazy wealthy. They were just that wealthy. A very, very rich, a very, very rich neighborhood. This family was very rich. I mean, it was, a definition of success. But as investigators would soon discover, life behind the Warren household's doors wasn't quite as perfect as it seemed, because it never is. You'd never know what's happening behind the closed doors. And, well, this is one such case. Mind you, this case, because I didn't mention it at the beginning, but this case took 27 years to solve. Almost 3 decades to solve. And I'll explain why, because it's crazy. It's insane. I haven't even gotten to that part, but it is insane what happened later. To find one clown, But the thing is, they knew who the clown was for 30 years. They were investigators on this case were convinced that, hey, we know who this person is. we know who killed Marlene, but we couldn't put them behind the bars for 27 years. Yeah, I can see you guys like being, you know, shocked in the chat, like everyone is shocked. Yeah, but that's literally what happened. They were just like, man, we have this person. You know what? Like, let me just put it this way. Yeah, they were just like, we have this person. We know who they are, and yeah, we could. Yeah, not enough evidence, so they couldn't. They had to wait 27 years to catch this person. Okay, so let's take a closer look at Marlene's life. Born and raised in Florida, Marlene was first married as a teenager, and after her divorce, she remarried Michael Warren in her early 20s. Together, they built a comfortable life, owning also Oliver Richardson. Thank you so much for joining the membership. So they lived a comfortable life. They built a life for themselves. You know, they were very successful. They owned multiple rental properties, racehorses, and a used car dealership called Bargain Motors. On the surface, they were living the American dream. Like, they were very successful. But as is often the case in true crime, because we see it a lot in those documentaries and those during the, like, you know, in those case videos, and in those cases, what appears perfect on the outside rarely tells the whole story. So a few years before her death, tragedy struck the Warren family when Marlene's other son, John, this is actually a picture of the whole family. So they had two sons. Well, Marlene had a son, Joe, and then she had a son, John, but he was killed in a car accident. His death took a toll on Marlene, and according to her surviving son, Joe, the strain began to affect her marriage with Michael. I mean, you guys kind of know where this is going. I mean, I'm pretty sure you suspect something, and it's kind of a connection, but it's not what you think. Okay, so yes, the tragedy did affect her marriage with Michael. Joe described his stepfather as becoming distant, emotionally withdrawn, and no longer as supportive of Marlene as he once was. Like, he wasn't as loving, you know, he wasn't as attentive. It's just that it did feel that way, like, oh, he was kind of distancing himself from his wife. And this emotional distance would become a critical part of the investigation that followed. Now, let's get into the investigation. From the start, detectives were certain that this was not a random act of violence, because honestly, 90% of the time it isn't. Like, it's just that maybe 10%, maybe like less than 10% of the time when the murder was committed by someone like completely unrelated to the victim, and it was like very, very random. 99% of the time, I would say it's, you know, it's someone, you know, it's someone the victim knew. Okay, so the killer definitely knew where Marlene lived, right? Like, the killer was there on a mission. Like, this was a targeted killing. This was, you know, Marlene was their target, and they had orchestrated the murder with chilling precision. The costume was not just a disguise. It was a methodical way to obscure the assailant's identity, because, you know, like, clowns either wear a mask or they have this like heavy makeup, so, you know, it's very hard. It was very hard for the investigators to even like identify you know, the assailant's identity. Like, was the clown a man or a woman? Like, Joe, no one at the scene could really tell. They were just like, yeah, it was, the clown didn't say anything, so we couldn't really identify them by maybe their voice. Like, oh, okay, the voice was a little more feminine or a little more masculine, right? Like, they couldn't, because the clown didn't say anything, and they were wearing this heavy makeup, so there was no way of telling. Was the killer acting alone, or was there a mastermind behind the plan? Investigators needed answers, and they had to start digging into Marlene's personal life even more. One of the first pieces of evidence came from a neighbor, Bill Kramer, who, so Bill had been walking his dog nearby that morning. He reported hearing a sound that he initially thought was a nail gun, But when he saw the chaos at the Warren home, because this is exactly where it happened, that's the front door, and you can still actually see, I don't know if I can I actually like, oh, you can still see it, but this is the basket of flowers. Yeah, it's still there. This is, you know, nothing was moved. The basket of flowers. There's, I think I have another picture where there's like blood here because it was still, you know, it's still like that's a very fresh photo. Yeah, that's literally the front door where it happened. So Bill actually, you know, he was passing by the house and he did see the whole scene, you know, like, well, he didn't see the clown anymore, but he did see Marlene on the floor. He did see the chaos, you know, Joe, Jenny, everyone around Marlene, like trying to, you know, like scream at her and trying to get the emergency services over to the house. And he realized it was the sound of the gunshot. He stayed with the family while his wife called 911. And police found the white Chrysler LeBaron, I guess the car, just 4 days after the murder. And the car was abandoned in a parking lot 8 miles from Marlene's house. This car, mind you, had been thoroughly cleaned, squeaky clean, but investigators still managed. So this was very, very intentional, right? Like the murderer knew that they had to clean up this car because the car is now a crime scene too. So they were like, okay, I can't leave any evidence. I have to clean it up. The car was squeaky clean, but not squeaky clean enough, because investigators still managed to recover 2 crucial pieces of evidence. One was orange synthetic fibers that matched the clown wig. So that was like the wig hair. And then they also recovered strands of long brown human hair. So this was not the wig. Those were not synthetic fibers. It was a break. It was the break they needed to tie the clown costume directly to this car. But suspicions soon turned towards Marlene's husband, Michael, because in most cases, like, that would be the case, right? Like, oh, the marriage is not going that great. You know, they're very distant. Maybe he's, you know, they are wealthy. Maybe there's some money involved, which, by the way, it might have been. Like, I'm gonna get to that, but it might have been. So, you know, they kind of their immediate attention turns to Michael. For one, because he wasn't at home that day, so they had to establish if he had an alibi. After all, like, it is standard procedure to look at the spouse first in cases like this. Michael did have an alibi. He was at the racetrack with friends that morning, but investigators couldn't really ignore some other concerning details. For one, there were rumors swirling about Michael having an affair with a former employee of his used car lot, a woman named Sheila Keene. Sheila was described as a rough around the edges type, and she did have long brown hair. See where this is going? She kind of matched the hair of the clown. Okay. So, Sheila actually worked for Michael. She was in charge of repossessing cars, and the two had been seen together outside of work quite often. But the explanation was always like, oh, you know, we're working, you know, this is for work, whatever, like, oh, she's my employee, right? The relationship definitely raised some eyebrows, but at the time it was just a rumor. So let's take a closer look at Sheila. By all accounts, Sheila was tough and ambitious. You know, she actually grew up in a pretty rugged environment and learned early on that life wasn't always easy. But Sheila had bigger plans. She wanted to get out of her hometown. You know, her hometown, I think, was like Everglade or something, in that area, but it was like a smaller town. It wasn't great. She wanted to get out of that town. And more than that, she wanted money, wealth, and a good life. Everything that Marlene had. Sheila's determination led her into this tough profession, repossessing cars. Like if I, okay, so it's not glamorous, but it did fit her personality. She wasn't afraid, because repossessing cars is basically like, oh, you have to take back cars from someone who can't, you know, make their payments, right? Like, oh, if they got the car from the dealership, from Michael's dealership, like, and they weren't paying the payments and the usual, like, right, like the installments, the payments, then the car had to be repossessed, right? So she was actually in charge of that. She wasn't afraid of knocking on doors day or night and demanding the keys from people who couldn't make their payments. Sometimes she would like literally roll up in her flatbed truck and take the car outright, no questions asked. Like she was a pretty tough lady. At 26, Sheila was a single mother navigating a difficult separation from her husband Richard, and it was during this time that she crossed paths with Michael Warren, a man who would forever change her life. Michael needed someone to help him repossess cars from buyers who, again, couldn't keep up with their payments, and Sheila was the perfect fit for the job. She had a flatbed. She did have a flatbed, and she had a gun. I know that you guys know where this is going, but she had a gun. Okay, so now the cars they were dealing with weren't really like high-end luxury vehicles, because I know that, you know, I said like, oh, they were super wealthy, and you would think like, okay, well, they are super wealthy. They are selling cars. They have this like very successful car business. Oh, it must be some luxurious or luxury cars. No, they weren't. They were just like, we're talking about cars sold to people in desperate situations, people with bad credit, shady pasts, even criminal records. So those kind of cars, and Sheila was dealing with those people too. So it was definitely risky business, so much so that Sheila often carried a gun for protection. Sure. In Florida, I mean, okay, in Florida, it wasn't really unusual for people in her line of work to, you know, be armed, especially when facing shotgun-wielding homeowners trying to keep their cars from being towed, because, you know, it's not like just one person would get upset. Like that was like a common occurrence for people to be upset that she was there to take their car away. But there was more to Sheila and Michael's relationship than just business. It didn't take long for those kinds of rumors to start circulating. Was there more to Sheila and Michael's relationship than a professional partnership? Sheila was considered attractive, and Michael, well, he has, you know, he had money, he had a good life, you know, established career, a couple of businesses, racehorses. He lived in this rich neighborhood, but he also had his own set of troubles. He was married to Marlene, right? So that's an obstacle for Sheila. But again, sources claim that Michael and Sheila were often seen together outside of work. Long lunches, late night meetings, employees started to talk. And Marlene herself was deeply involved in, it's not like Marlene was just a, you know, a homemaker, you know, like she wasn't a housewife. She actually was deeply involved in Michael's used car business, and she knew Sheila well. In fact, many of the businesses, like business assets, were actually in Marlene's name, not Michael's. So she was, you know, she wasn't just like, oh, okay, stay at home mom. No. Like she was working there too. If she had any suspicions about Michael's closeness to Sheila, it's said that she kept them mostly to herself, though some people close to her believed otherwise. And 2 weeks before her murder, Marlene confided in a few close friends and family members, including her mother, that her marriage was on a shaky ground. She had even considered leaving Michael and moving out on her own. So could she have known about the alleged affair? Like maybe she found out, maybe she finally had some like hard evidence that Michael was actually cheating on her. And one day things came to a head when Marlene confronted Michael in public, accusing him of being, quote, a sinking ship, end quote. I mean, I gotta say, that's That's she ate that. I think that's pretty cool. Like she, you know, she was he pushed her over the, like he, well, I mean, I wouldn't say he pushed her over the edge, but yeah, like she kind of, this was the last straw. Like she maybe there was an argument and she literally called him a sinking ship. She's just like, no, that's, you know, I can't trust you. Like, you know, I might be jumping this ship. So indicating that she was gonna leave him. And remember, some businesses were in her name, so they weren't in Michael's name. And, you know, if she divorced him, well, who knows? Who knows if those businesses would go to Michael, like he would retain his wealth, or if that would be a blow to his, I mean, it would be, but, you know, there was no, it wasn't very clear, like, who the businesses would go to, because she wasn't working there too. Okay, so witnesses at the scene claimed that she told Michael that he would lose everything if he didn't stop screwing with her, like quote unquote screwing with her. And it was definitely a fiery confrontation, and it left people wondering, was Michael really involved with Sheila? And if so, what did it mean for his marriage to Marlene? Like, was this marriage ending? Like, was that her, you know, Marlene saying, oh, you're a sinking ship? Was that an indication that, hey, she's gonna jump the ship, she's gonna divorce him? No wonder they say greed is a sin. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's it. Definitely in some cases, I mean, in many cases, like, money is the motive, honestly. And, well, I mean, in this one, I'm not sure, but we'll see. All right. Then there was that stolen white Chrysler car, right? Like the white car that the clown was driving. The car used in the murder was traced back to a used car lot, and guess who ran that lot? Because I did mention that, oh, the car was found in you know, I mean, the car was found like in a random area, but, you know, there was this car came from a used car dealership, and guess whose dealership was it? Michael Warren's. Michael and Marlene Warren's. It turned out that a couple had mistakenly returned the Chrysler to Michael's lot after renting it from a competitor, and somehow the car vanished from the street that very night. Like, that's very confusing. This part is very confusing. Like, some articles say like, oh, it was from his dealership, and some articles say like, oh, it wasn't, it was from the competitors, but someone returned it, and then someone else drove it away from, like, suddenly the car went missing. This part is still pretty unclear. You know, it's very unclear if the car was actually from that dealership or not, and how did it vanish, and how did it find itself at a crime scene or tied to a crime scene. Okay, as for Sheila's alibi, she did have an alibi. She did have an alibi. She was out repossessing cars that day, or so she claims, even though there's no one really to, like, confirm. Michael too, you know, like, he had his alibi. He was, like, at the racetrack, which was like 50 miles away from home, and he was surrounded by friends who could confirm that yes, he was there, he was with us. But Sheila's alibi, no one could really confirm it. And this is actually another picture from the crime scene. This is that basket, and you can still see that there's a cloth with with blood on it. That's a close-up picture from inside of the house. Bloody rag, yeah, it is. I believe this is the rag that they used to kind of, like, stop the bleeding. Yeah, unfortunately. Okay, so still, investigators weren't really convinced about at least Sheila's alibi. There was just too much connecting the couple to Marlene's murder. Not only was there an affair, like that affair rumor, and also the confrontation between Marlene and Michael, but Michael stood to gain financially from Marlene's death. With her gone, he would inherit all of her assets, so the assets in her name. As I said, like, oh, I was at the beginning, I said, like, oh, you know, maybe it's not 100% certain that he would inherit, but he would inherit at least some of the assets, including the businesses, and pocket a hefty life insurance payout. So I gotta say, like, it's kind of a classic case of, hey, you know, money, greed. Then there was Sheila's husband, Richard Keene. So she was still, you know, she was separating from the husband. And he was a shady character too. So police kind of looked at him too, because he was reportedly connected to the KKK, which only added to the strange and unsettling atmosphere surrounding this case. Like, he was, you know, he wasn't a clean-cut person. He was definitely involved in some shady stuff. So police were, you know, investigators were just like looking at him because they were like, okay, maybe it's not Michael, maybe it's not Sheila, but they might have hired Sheila's husband, and that's why Michael was talking to Sheila a lot, right? Because he hired her, the husband, to kill Marlene. But, however, when questioned, Richard did mention that Sheila had recently lost a gun. Coincidentally, because, oh my god, what a coincidence, a .38 caliber handgun. Suspiciously close, like, she lost it suspiciously close to the time of Marlene's death. Yeah, very weird, strange coincidence. Oh no. Who would have thought? Oh no, I lost it. Okay, so sure, a coincidence. That can't be a coincidence. That can't be too much of a coincidence. The what? Yeah, she lost the exact caliber of a handgun that was used in Marlene's murder, but she claims like, oh no, I lost it before, like, oh, around this time. So she was trying, what they were trying to say was that, oh, maybe someone is trying to frame me. They, you know, they took my gun and they used it to kill Marlene. But, well, she didn't say that, but she was just like saying like, oh, I lost it. I don't have it. I don't have this gun. Aw, shucks. I accidentally dropped it somewhere. Yeah, like, oh no. Oh no, drat. Okay. So investigators also learned that a local costume shop in Palm Beach County had sold a clown costume the day before the murder. The store's employees, and it was such a weird situation. It was a very, very weird situation. So the store's employees, Deborah and Barbara, remembered a woman who had knocked on their door. She banged on the door after hours. So this store was already closing, but she came there. This woman comes there. She's banging on the door and she insists that she needed a full clown costume, complete with makeup, complete with shoes, and a wig. What the heck? So she just shows up, you know, they're closing for the day. And she's like, no, wait, I really need this costume and I need it to be a full set. I mean, the timing and the nature of the purchase were very suspicious, incredibly suspicious, especially considering it was also late May, which means nowhere near Halloween. Because, okay, maybe October, maybe you can explain it. You can be like, okay, I was invited to this Halloween party last minute and I really need it because it's like tonight or tomorrow and I really, really need this costume, any costume. But no, this is in May. It's like months away from Halloween, so what the fuck is happening? Okay, so witnesses then later, that's not suspicious at all. Not suspicious at all. You just, you know, I just need a clown costume, the exact same clown costume, around the same exact time, right before the murder. It's just like, come on now. Witnesses also reported, like, witnesses from the car dealership, because there was like there were people around there, and they actually reported seeing Sheila dressed in a clown costume around the time of the murder. And the white Chrysler used in the getaway had been reported stolen from the dealership affiliated with Michael. Okay, so it was, I'm just kind of confused about this car all the time. Like, I do have a couple of things written down, but then I'm confused, like, oh, it wasn't at Michael's. Like, this was a complicated situation. It was like, oh, it was like a competition dealership, and then this Chrysler was then parked in Michael's dealership. So I think what happened was Sheila actually got the car from another dealership, or stole it from another dealership and parked it here. I don't know. Okay, so witnesses also recalled someone buying 2 specific balloons, the balloon with "You're the greatest" written on it, from a Publix grocery store nearby, balloons that were later found at the crime scene. Still, the investigation soon hit a dead end. There wasn't really enough concrete evidence to link Sheila to the crime, which is crazy. All this evidence, all those like witness statements, yeah, like they weren't 100% sure if it was Sheila, and Jesus Christ, my I'm a toaster again. Sorry, I have to Jesus. Good job, Fear. My voice is gone. I've been trying to kind of save my voice, but holy shit, this is not working. So yeah, we're getting to the point where the case just hits a wall, because yes, they had all that evidence, supposedly evidence. They had witness statements about like Sheila supposedly being in a clown costume, and like, oh, it's very weird, and the white Chrysler. But unfortunately, none of this evidence was... I'm okay. I'm gonna be clearing my throat here and there. I just have to. There's no way around it. Otherwise, I'm gonna sound like a kraken. I don't know. Wait, okay. Okay, maybe now. Maybe now. Okay, so... Again, all of this evidence, all of it, like there's at first glance, there's a lot of evidence. And at first glance, anyone would say like, come on, like it's so clear. You have this person. We got the person. Like this Sheila Keen is definitely your suspect. Like arrest her right now. But unfortunately, none of this evidence was hard, like, hard evidence. It was all circumstantial, so they couldn't really arrest her. So for years, 27 years to be exact, even though they knew who did it, they couldn't arrest Sheila, and the case went cold. Both Sheila and Michael moved on with their lives. Reporters discovered that Sheila Keen had married none other than Michael Warren. Yep, they got married, the same Michael Warren who was Marlene's husband at the time of her murder. So Sheila and Michael got married in 2002, 12 years after Marlene's death, and they got married in a small Vegas wedding chapel, so very low-key. I mean, this revelation stunned everyone. What were the odds? Oh, what a coincidence. The woman accused of murdering Marlene ended up marrying her her widower. It definitely raised even more questions about their relationship. So does that mean the rumors about the affair were real? Because, well, I mean, okay, it wasn't quick, but they did start, seeing each other pretty soon, like openly. And yeah, then they got married. And then for years, they actually, there's another question. Did Michael actually had any role in orchestrating the crime? Were they both involved in this crime? Was this like Sheila's doing? Just, did Sheila do it alone? Or did she have some instructions? Did she have some help from Michael? I mean, I personally think that she did, but, we wait for evidence. So for years, they actually lived under the radar. They moved away from Wellington, and they opened a restaurant called The Purple Cow, far away from the scandals and rumors of Florida. But as we've seen in many cold cases, time is sometimes on the side of justice. It just needs time. Fast forward to 2013, Florida police, with the help of a grant, decided to reopen the case. And this is such a huge breakthrough, this is a huge thing. And it's all about, it's basically what I'm you know, what I always emphasize in whenever I talk about like why do I cover those cases? Why do I cover any cases? Because, or cold cases specifically, because it's important to keep them relevant. Because like a lot of cases, you know, they just kind of disappear. They just go forgotten. They do, you know, people forget about them. And if there's no interest in the case, well, I mean, police has a lot of cases on their desks, and they forget about them too. But if the case stays relevant, if people are still talking about the case, a cold case, that puts a certain amount of pressure on the law enforcement to keep investigating and maybe reopen the case, maybe reopen it because there's new technology available that could help with solving the case. That's why I do it, you know, that's why I always emphasize like, hey, it is important. It's important to make people aware of this case. Make people interested, you know. Yeah, like, it's as messed up as it sounds. Those cases need PR. As you know, maybe it sounds kind of questionable, right? Like it sounds messed up, but that's the truth. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the truth. Cold cases need, well, if I put it this way, yeah, cold cases need PR and they need marketing. And yeah, like, it sounds bad. It sounds as if like those cases are a product. But yeah, to keep them relevant and to keep people from forgetting about them, or keep people aware, you know, make people aware of them, yeah, they need some marketing. Okay, so fast forward to 2013 and police reopens the case. By then, DNA testing, because this happened in the 90s, right? Now we're in 2013. DNA testing had advanced significantly. Investigators began retesting all the evidence collected from the crime scene back in May 1990, and this is where things got interesting. Fibers found in the car were definitely a match for an orange wig. And the hairs collected, the long brown hair collected, were linked to Sheila Keene. Those were definitely Sheila's hair. Brave Soda, hello. But here's the kicker. Technology had advanced enough to also extract skin cells from the hair, and they confirmed, they confirmed 100% that this DNA matched Sheila Keene Warren, because now she was, right, like now her name was Sheila Keene Warren. And this was definitely the breakthrough that finally connected Sheila to this crime. In 2017, on the 27th anniversary of Marlene's murder, police finally closed in on Sheila. Living a quiet life with Michael in a small Virginia town, Sheila had adopted a new identity, and she was actually not going by Sheila. She was going by Debbie Warren. Man, the audacity of this bitch. I can't. She's just like, oh no, I'm gonna completely abandon my name, and I'm now Debbie Warren. Sheila Keene, who was that? You know, but her past definitely had caught up to her. Police set up a roadblock and arrested Sheila on charges of first-degree murder. And let me tell you, when they took her in, Sheila was, well, for a lack of better description, as cold as a cucumber. She was smiling, she was calm, as though she knew that something, like, I don't know, like she had no remorse. She knew, I mean, as though she knew also something we didn't. But what was going through Michael's mind as all of this unfolded? Because he wasn't arrested. Michael wasn't arrested. There was no evidence tying him to the case, aside from the fact that he was Marlene's husband and Sheila was the murderer. And Sheila reportedly even asked police if he would be. Sheila actually asked police, like, oh, are you gonna arrest Michael too? Like, will Michael be arrested? So was he involved, or was he trying to like distance himself from, from this whole case, and just, was he going to drop Sheila, essentially? Now, again, here's where things get even more complicated, because as if this case wasn't complicated enough already. Sheila's trial has been delayed multiple times, first because of the ongoing pandemic, and later due to various legal maneuvers by her defense team. The defense team claims that there isn't enough solid evidence linking Sheila to the crime. They argue that, you know, the hair and fibers found in that Chrysler could be explained by her job repossessing cars, which, by the way, doesn't really make sense, because if this Chrysler wasn't even from Michael's dealership, why would she, like, what's her business repossessing that car? Like, that's not even from the business, that's not even from Michael's business. So, like, what the fuck? Why is your hair in the car? But okay, well, she claims that, oh, you know, this was repossessed by mistake, and we made a mistake. I made a mistake and I repossessed the car that wasn't from the dealership. Maybe, you know, she was kind of saying it that way, like, oh, maybe this happened. Maybe, like, I don't remember, but maybe this happened. And while eyewitnesses placed Sheila buying a clown costume, like they saw her buying a clown, right? Like the employees at the costume store. There is no direct fingerprint or murder weapon tying her to the scene. Like, the weapon is gone, right? Like that .38 handgun that she claimed she had lost, like, that was never found. And as the trial drags on, it's becoming clear that this will be a tough case to crack. But let's not forget, there are still some strange unresolved details. Marlene's own mother, so this is the new information that came out not too long ago. Marlene's mother had suspicions about Michael's affair with Sheila before the murder. In fact, just weeks before Marlene's death, Sheila reportedly told Michael's mother that she was in love with him. So there's another, wait, so, oh, okay, sorry, I mixed it up. It was Michael's mother. But yeah, Sheila reportedly told Michael's mother that, oh, she's in love with him. And on the day of the murder, Michael was conveniently on his way to a racetrack, like he was at a racetrack. So yeah, like, again, there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of, like, hey, you know, was he involved? Was this a perfectly conducted crime? Like, just mastermind, he was the mastermind, or maybe he just helped Sheila. There are also suspicious financial transactions. Less than 2 weeks before Marlene's death, Michael's mom deposited nearly $150,000 from the sale of stocks and bonds into a joint account with Michael. So, you know, is it possible that there was some kind of specific payout involved? Where they trying, like, maybe, well, this was in the joint account. Maybe he was trying to pay off, like, maybe he would pay it to Sheila. Maybe this just meant like, oh, he was going to move this money somewhere. Who knows? Despite years of rumors and growing mountain of evidence, Sheila continued to maintain her innocence. She actually pled not guilty and spent 5 years awaiting trial. But in early 2023, something unexpected happened. Sheila actually changed her plea to guilty, but not for first-degree murder, for the lesser charge of second-degree murder. And it was a dramatic twist in the case. Like, why would she, after years of maintaining her innocence, suddenly confess? According to her attorney, it was a strategic move. Sheila was facing a potential death sentence, but by accepting the plea deal and changing her charges to second-degree murder, she reduced her sentence to, I believe, 12 years in prison with the possibility of parole. Which is a huge contrast from, like, okay, you're facing death sentence. Meanwhile, versus, okay, now you get 12 years with the possibility of parole, of early release. It's like, what? How is that allowed? But it is. So here's the kicker. Because she'd already served over 5 years behind bars, Sheila could be released as early as March of 2025. So next year, in a couple of months, she might be walking free. Let that sink in. A woman who dressed up as a clown drove over to this wealthy neighborhood, to the house of her lover, and shot Marlene Warren in cold blood into her face, straight in the face, and then evaded justice for nearly 3 decades, 27 years. She might be walking free after just a few years in prison. Fucking monster. Yeah, what the frick is happening? What is wrong with the system? Like, how is this allowed? How are you allowing this? As State Attorney Dave Ehrenberg put it, quote, Sheila Keene Warren has finally been forced to admit that she was the one who dressed as a clown and took the life of an innocent victim, end quote. But of course, Sheila's defense continues to argue that she is innocent, she did not do it, but she was only taking this plea deal, you know, to avoid a harsher punishment, to avoid a death sentence, and that's the only reason. Like, it's not like she's guilty. You know, the defense team were like, oh no, she's not guilty, she's innocent, but what can we do? You know, what can we do? Like, you're gonna put her to death, so we're just gonna take the deal. So where is Sheila now? As of today, Sheila is serving her sentence at Gadsden Correctional Facility in Quincy, Florida. If her release date holds, she will be out again in March of 2025, free to basically return to her life, free to return to maybe Michael, who knows. But as for Michael Warren, authorities have never really charged him with any crime related to his wife's death. But the fact that he married the prime suspect just like 13 years later, and he had an affair with this suspect during the investigation, before and during the investigation, before and after the crime, well, that raises a lot of questions, you know. But whether or not he was involved, there's no denying that the case of Marlene Warren's murder is one for the history books. That's why I'm talking about it, because it's insane. A killer clown, a love affair, and a cold case that took nearly 3 decades to solve, even though the suspect was right there. And investigators knew who the suspect was. And that is it. This is the end of this case, you guys. Thank you so much. What do you guys think? I feel so bad for Marlene. I feel so bad for Marlene. I feel so bad for her son, Joe, because he was there. He saw the whole thing, and he saw his mother being murdered, and now the killer is finally behind bars, but this is what he hears. Oh, the killer took a plea deal, and she's gonna be released basically after a few, not even 12 years in prison, because she was arrested in like, what, 2017? Like, officially? Yeah, she was arrested 2017, so like, what the fuck? So she's just gonna be out in 2025. It really, really sucks. I don't think it's fair. And also, I do have a feeling that Michael was in on it. Michael definitely was in on it. Like, this was a coordinated crime. First of all, like, how did she get it? I don't know, maybe it's not a gated community, because I was gonna say, like, oh, you know, if it's such a posh community, posh kind of neighborhood of Wellington, with, like, you know, everyone having their own plane, like private plane and hangar and like runway, like, was this not a gated community? How did she get in there? Or maybe it wasn't like that. I'm just kind of here, like, just talking out of my ass. Maybe that's I misunderstood, but I'm just thinking, like, oh, was there a security? Because how did she get in that community? Like, if this is such a posh community, like, I assume not everyone could just drive in there and just, yeah. Michael was 1000% in on it. I have a feeling that's the case. I think that he was involved. I think this is not just coincidence, and he was just, oh, he was coincidentally out of the house. He was coincidentally 50 miles away. She was able to get there. She knew that Marlene was at home, and she would be at home alone, and all of the things in between. So, like, the car, you know, especially the car, like how did you manage to get a car from competition and like park it at the Michael's dealership, but then like, oh, it's not from there, like, oh, what a coincidence. And then you obviously married the prime suspect and, well, the criminal, the murderer, so there's that. The husband is in on it. She was left holding the bag. She was the cover-up. Yeah, I feel like he was, you know, he helped her arrange it. He, you know, they both wanted Marlene gone. He wanted to divorce her because he wanted to get all the businesses, right? Like he wanted to get the money. I don't have information about this, but I honestly do hope that the businesses, the money went to Marlene's son. Unfortunately, I don't think that's the case, and you know, that's absolutely not fair. Well, I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I just don't have information about like where did the money and assets go to, like after Marlene, right? Like where Marlene's assets went to. Did they go to her son, or did they go to well, this douchebag, Michael? Because fuck that guy. Married to a killer clown. Well, I mean, he wasn't the killer clown, but he was, I think he was involved. I think, honestly, like, I think that's, you know, he was in on it, kind of. You guys, thank you so much for today. I appreciate that you showed up. I appreciate that you discussed the case with me as I was talking about it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. And just keep an eye out on developments in the case, because it's still not over. Even if Sheila is behind bars, you know, Michael's role in this whole situation is still, you know, pretty shady. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was suddenly like breaking news that he got arrested because he actually was involved somehow. I was a little late, but thank you. Avian, thank you so much for being here. I'm you know, too bad that you were late, but I'm glad that you could make it. Azure Void, thank you so much. Love listening to these while gaming. Hey, there's gonna be more of those. Again, like I'm planning to take a few days to work on things behind the scenes, but if I change my mind, there might be a case earlier this week, so there might be 2 cases. We'll see. Bacon pretty upset about the whole 12 years in prison thing, but thank fuck it's still some time. Had she dumped the car in a river or some shit? Nada. Yeah, like I think like had the car been like disposed of, I think that like they couldn't have done anything, right? Like had she dumped the car somewhere, yeah, like in water or somewhere, or burned it, or I don't know, like get rid of the hair. Yeah, I don't think she would have been caught. Thank you for the stream. You're welcome. Thank you for the stream, Sana. You're welcome. I will be raiding another VTuber. Like after my stream is done, it's gonna redirect to another VTuber stream. That was a request from Jose, and I will gladly grant it. This stream will redirect to what was it, like Arena V artist. Joshua, thank you so much for the super. Bye, Sona. Don't forget to get some rest and your voice on your break. Yeah, I will definitely try to, you know, let my voice rest a little bit. And yeah, like I think it's gonna redirect. It should hopefully I did set it up so it should redirect to Rena's stream. Yeah, Rena V artist. Yeah. Art moment. Hey, we rating? Yeah, I think so. I tried to set it up. We'll see. Yeah, like Rena V artist. That's the name of the VTuber. Again, I will be back most likely on Friday with a Patreon hangout for Ruby and Diamond tiers, but I might still, you know, decide to do. I don't know. Like I have to really like look at my schedule and look at you know, my workload, and decide if I'm gonna have another stream maybe on Wednesday, like around Wednesday-ish. There's a possibility I might have a stream on Wednesday, so we'll see. Wait, can we have a fun fact? We can have a fun fact. Wait, do I have a fun fact? I do. I did have a fun fact somewhere here, somewhere. Okay. Squirrels can't tell apart red and green hues. They can't really see those. So they have what is called dichromatic color vision. No red, no green. Aw, poor squirrels. They can't see a lot of things. Oh, also, like, this is a weird fact. Did I share it before? But about Beethoven, it's pronounced Ryan. Oh, Ryan. Oh, I thought it was like Rina. Oh, Ryan. Okay, Ryan. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I didn't know. I was confused because I thought it was like, oh, Rina. Okay, so this is a fun fact about Beethoven. Apparently, before writing any composition, Beethoven would put his head in a bowl of cold water. I don't know why, but apparently that's the... Also, Mozart. Mozart is weird. He started composing... Dude, like, prodigy. Like, he started composing his first composition was at 5 years old. 5. And he ended, I think he died at 37. 37. He was composing for 32 years. Like 5 years old, he started composing. 6 was like one of the famous ones that is still played now. Like 7, I think there was like, yeah. Mozart was but then he actually was horrible with money. He sucked with money. He couldn't manage his money, so he actually died in a pauper's grave. Like, no one can find his grave. We don't know where he was buried because he died dirt poor. And yeah, he spent his own money, all of his money. And yeah, let's go. On one hand, let's go Mozart, you know, like we still listen to his music to this day. On the other hand, he was terrible with his money. And yeah, that is insane. But no one knows where he's buried to this day. Yeah, I think that's the crazy part, you know, like we all remember, we all know him, we all remember, we all know his songs, but then, yeah, there's just not. One more fun fact, last one, I promise. He just like me for real, what the heck? Camels are born without humps. Oh, that's true. That's another fun fact. That's true, that's so true. If you see like baby camels don't have the hump. They just develop the hump later. Aw. Man spawned, made bangers, spent all his money, died poor. Amazing. His music was amazing, but at the same time, like, man, you would actually think that, oh, maybe like at 37, he actually learned a little bit about like how to keep, you know, like just not spend his money, like not, you know, spend everything, but he didn't. Yeah, and baby camels are weird. Yeah, like just look it up. Look up a picture of a baby camel and it doesn't have a hump. The hump just grows later on. Okay, that's it. You guys, thank you so much for today. I hope you enjoyed the stream. If you did, please remember to like this video and like my videos, subscribe to the channel, turn on those notifications to be notified whenever I show up in my little dark corner of the internet, and please remember to enter the giveaway if you would like to get a chance to receive one of the desk mats with this design. And yeah, like another one is on Patreon. This is for Platinum, Ruby, and Diamond tier Patreon members. The details are on Patreon. And yeah, besides that, if you are in the Platinum, Ruby, or Diamond tier, you will also be able to get this digital wallpaper for your phone. This was drawn by yours truly, me. Hey. Alright, that's it. I hope to win. Yeah, there's gonna be 3 winners. 1 to 3, and there's gonna be a special event, Halloween escape room event, you know, like live stream, during which I will choose 3 winners. It's, you know, it's gonna be a spinning wheel. Everyone has the same chance, you know, equal chances to win, and there will be 3 winners. So yeah. Have a nice week, Sona and Chad. Yeah, have a wonderful rest of the day / night, wherever you are, whichever time zone you are in, and have a wonderful week. I will see you guys possibly on Wednesday, and then Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday. So stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your hexes. Until the next time. Bye. for the super. Get plenty of rest, Sona. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wait, do I have another fun fact? I should have another fun fact. Do I? Oh, wait. Wait. Oh, bees can see ultraviolet light. Oh, that's nifty. And Shai, thank you for the super. Reading aloud uses different brain circuits than reading silently. I didn't know that. That's crazy. Oh. Interesting. Okay, that's it. That's it for the fun facts. I also saw a picture of Mercury. I'm gonna like show it to you guys on I lied. Sorry, Joshua. Thank you. Wait. Hold up. I think I have another one. I should have another one. I think I had another one. Did I have another one? Oh, I had it somewhere here. Okay. Picture this. Someone standing on Earth's equator would be turning around Earth's center at 1,000 miles per hour. However, someone standing at the poles would be standing still. So, do the math. Math, not mathing. But yeah, no mathing. Okay, that's it, you guys. Thank you so much. Another one. Oh God. Okay. I have another one. So if you go to Italy, there's a hill. There's this one hill. I don't remember which. I don't have the information which region, but you can look up 180-foot pink bunny. So there's this 180-foot gigantic stuffed pink bunny on top of a hill in Italy. Look it up. No escape. Jesus. Why? But yeah, interesting. Oh, also black boxes are actually orange. Did you guys know that? Black boxes used to be black, you know, black box, because of the material that they used before, but now they are orange. So yeah, so it's not a black box, it's orange box, but it just doesn't sound great. So they just go with what? Wait, what? Bonus fact. Yeah, that's a bonus fact. But yeah, black boxes are just orange. And so black boxes are known in the aerospace industry as flight data and cockpit voice recorders. And yeah, currently they just got painted orange. And another Baxter, thank you. Okay, do you guys know of safety coffins? So safety coffins were very popular in the 19th century because people were buried alive so often in the 19th century that there was this invention like called safety coffin. They had this like a string. There was like a string tied to a bell that was above the ground, and you could like ring the bell. So, you know, the dead could have the ability to alert someone above the ground that they were still alive, and they were like, hey, I'm not dead, can you please dig me up? Understandable. Yeah. Yeah, you know, there's good times 19th century. I, you know, would not want to go back to that, but yeah, why not? Okay, that's it. Thank you so much, you guys. Stay safe out there. Always lock your doors and windows. Bury your haxes. Until the next time.